Yes, you're still onto the economy today, and today we want to look at a very, very pertinent and very, I would say issue or something that happens within businesses or businesses should have and also extends to the economy, and that is data analysis and how it impacts on businesses. So I have with me here, or rather, I'm in the presence of a data analyst, somebody who is also a life coach in that matter, training a whole lot of young people in data analysis, helping other businesses too. So we want to look at that and how it impacts on businesses. So I am in the presence of Ayodeji Folarin.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, so excited. So good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. So now let's look at it very well. I'm sure you are very vast in this. I mean, somebody who you are big in on this now. You have been coaching people and you have also been talking about it. So now let's look at its impact now on businesses. Because majority of the businesses don't know it. Some people just start their businesses and they just run it the way they feel they can run it as far as it is making income. But there are other things that are into it that can also help that business without them expanding so much on the human capacity.
Great. Well, first thing I would like to say is this. Data, as people always say, is the new oil, is a new gold. So we like it or not, data has greatly impacted the economy, the society. Now, I want us to look at this simple scenario. In case you are running a business and you're not leveraging on data, definitely the business is going to have its own challenges. But those organizations that leverage on data, they are actually striving and doing very, very well. Now, how does data affect the business as a whole? Number one, I might decide to have I'm starting up a new business or an existing organization. I want to look at our performance some years back. How have we been performing? There is need for us to get a deeper insight into the organization performance. And after that, if there's any issue along the way, what are the cause, the root cause of those issues? I need to identify those root cause so that I will not make such mistake again. And apart from that, I would love the same data that we are still talking about to predict the future. What will likely happen in the next 5, 10 years to this business if you continue to do things the same way? And finally, I want that same data to tell me what I should do to maximize the resources we have at the moment and tell us how we should tread so that we can actually be the leader in that sector or in that industry. Now, all what I've explained to you, I've been able to categorize data in 4 different ways, and as it can help the organization. Describing what has happened to the company, that's descriptive analytics, and also telling us exactly what led to some issues within the company, that's diagnostic analytics. And I've been able to tell us how data can go into the future, that's predictive analytics. And finally, how data can help the organization to take the best decision, that's what we call prescriptive analytics. Prescribe to me what we should do. Now, if a company is running and is not leveraging on data, definitely that company is running into doom. It's like running a race, having your eyes closed on a race. So data is actually a pointer to the future, how the business should run. And all organizations today, we expected them to leverage on one of the greatest assets they've never identified, and that asset has been data. Most companies recognize building and all those stuff as assets, but they've forgotten that the greatest asset any company can sit on is actually data. So data is so powerful in any sector, in any organization, to help them chart their course and move forward and maximize their potential to be the best in the industry.
I think I'm getting a lecture here. Well, anyway, let's look at it, because right now you just opened the eyes that a lot of organizations out there, they are more concentrated on building the structures, just the infrastructure now, the building, and then having the staffs and having chairs and all those things, and then maybe their own data is just having a laptop in front of them to get lists and names of people and all that, but they don't deep into some other aspects that has to even do with their financing and the what happened in the past, what could happen, what is presently happening, and what might happen. You understand? So explaining it in that format is quite clear. But again, now, do you think companies are embracing this, have started embracing this kind of thing, or is it something that is new, it's just out there and people should come for it?
Wow. Well, data insights, data science, data engineering, any of these data roles, we've had them running within the country for a very long time. So many organizations have actually embraced it. And the question should be, to what degree? So I tell you, almost all companies that exist in the country, they have data. But most of them, they are not using the data to their advantage. So, and that is where the problem lies. It's not just,
sorry to cut you. Is it that they don't know it, they don't know how to use it, or they just feel, okay, this is this data, this is the level they know. They just know it to this level. Or, I mean, what other capacity should they reach?
Good. For example, in organization, they collect data in different ways. For example, fingerprints, thumbprint. I come in, I clock in, I clock out. That's the data they are collecting. Apart from that, there are POS, point of sales. So many organizations, they, one way or the other, they collect this data. But the next question is, what are they using that data for? So they know that there is need to collect data. Fine. They're collecting data. Good. When we want to register our SIM card, they collect our data. They've collected my biometrics. When we get to the bank, they collect the BVN biometrics again. NIN, they keep collecting all this data. But I still feel all these things they've been collecting, they are not harmonized. They are not using it to the best. Now, if you are really using all these data sets within the organization, within the country as a whole, then there will be a significant move, even in the system. The organization will flow, the country will flow. Now, what can this data do for us? All this data we've been collecting can do lot and lot of things to help the organization or the business. So one of the things, for example, the clocking machine that I mentioned, most companies have this. Or some, they don't even have clocking machine, they have attendance sheets. That same attendance is still a data. But the problem is, you just collect the attendance sheet and you never use it. I can pick up the attendance sheet and analyze it and tell you, why is it that these people come early and these people come late? Is it a function of the distance to the organization? Or it has to do with their, maybe there is issue at home? And so on and so forth. We've been able to analyze data for ordinary primary school, and we found out that the distance has an impact in the academic performance of the children. Number two, we even went in depth to see how great this data is even affecting them. We found that it even has a part to play with the setting in the home. Is it a single parent arrangement, or they have the mother and the father taking care of the kids? These are a lot of things, and there are lots that we can leverage on data to help these young ones. That is cool. Companies can leverage on data. Organizations can leverage on data. We can actually leverage on data to do lots and lots of things. So the challenge is this. We have the data. There is no sector or no organization in the country that does not have data. But are we using the data? Are we maximizing the potential within that data set? That's why I call the data set an asset. So you're not just sitting on it, use it to move the company forward.
I would like to ask, are there no risk attached to, because you talked about biometrics, collecting data, informations of people, these are all involved in data analysis, you understand, getting informations of maybe, say we're in a hotel right now, and anybody that comes in to come and to want to book in here or whatever will have to, one way or the other, put down all his informations or her informations on that thing. Is there no risk attached to that?
Well, one thing you should know again is this. Every country have a policy that governs the data within the country. And also within the organization, you also have policy that governs data governance and policy. So there are some information that is not supposed to get out there, even if I should give you my information. There are some that you should never disclose out there.
To
My
a third
medical
party.
information, you don't have the permission, the right to disclose that medical information to anybody. Now, so data has gone beyond just guarding the data. We have data governance that also governs the data we collect here and there. So there's a privacy issues. So this information is not supposed to go out there. If I should go to a bank and submit all my details to the bank does not have the right to share my details, my information with the public or with anybody.
We'll have to go for a very short break right now. When I'm back, I'll be with Ayodeji Folarin again on this particular topic. Welcome back. You're still on to the economy today, and we're discussing data analysis. And there's a data scientist here, somebody who is also a coach in that regard, giving us all the informations you need to know about data, having it in your business, in the economy, and everywhere. So you are talking about the risk, you understand, attached. Of course, there is risk attached to everything. And now regulations. You are talking about, because I'm particular about that, how people's informations are being kept safe, how, companies and some data are being kept away from the third party. So is there any way this relates to also the government regulations, or maybe there's an internal security to guide against such things?
Yeah, so let's pick it up from the government side. There's always a policy from the government to actually manage the way data is being kept within organization. And any organization that defaults, so I have the right to actually sue that organization for doing the wrong thing with my data, having the backing of the policy from the government. Now, when we talk about data privacy, data policy, so we have a governing body within the country, and also every organization understand how privacy is to any information gathered. So if I should submit my information to any organization, that information should be kept private. And at no point should they disclose the information to anybody without my permission. I have the right to sue such organization for doing the wrong thing. So within the organization, any data that is collected, they need to segment all this data. So we have tools that we use. I specialize majorly on Azure platform, that's Microsoft platform, and we use tools like Purview to manage these things. We segment which of these data is supposed to be private, which one can we disclose. So by the time we get to the point of dishing out this information, the system already know that this is supposed to be what? Supposed to be protected. And this is supposed to go out there, and we manage all those stuff. So there's no point. Even the governing body, the big body within the country, needs that as they're actually working seriously on data governance and policy within the country. So data, as powerful as it might be, there is also a part of data that manages security, privacy, and governance.
Now, because what you just said now is like, I can give you everything about me, but you cannot let out a lot of things. You can just let out these other particular things that people should know. Maybe just my name, that's all. But not my phone number, not my BVN, not anything, whatever. Exactly. So I want to go into the usage now for an establishment, a business establishment. Do you understand me? Because a lot of times we hear the issues of scamming, and it all boils down on this same data issue. You understand? A lot of people are afraid to share their emails even with other people. You understand? Even like this morning, I tried chatting with a friend on Facebook Messenger. I had to tell the friend, please, can we come to WhatsApp? I am not so comfortable chatting on the Messenger. He now said, oh, is it a personal thing? I said, yes. Is it a confidential thing? I said, yes. He now gave me his email address. That's trust, to message him on email. Now, we have not seen for a very long while. It is the email that signifies that, okay, it is this person. But what if it is hacked and someone else is using it and I am sending informations to that email? What happens in that regard to blocking scams from, getting in there?
Yeah. Well, one thing I will let you know is this. We have hackers out there. All what they are trying to do is trying to get access into information they are not supposed to have access to. They're not privileged to have access to it, but they keep walking around to find out that they gain access to such information. And at the same way, every organization is also building up security to protect whatsoever they have. Now, back to the question that was asked, how do we protect all those things? Number one, when you talk about security, it's not only for the organization, it's for every party involved. I need to play my part, you need to play your part when it gets to security. Somebody can give you a call, and when they call you requesting for some information, there's some information you cannot just give out. That regardless the pressure or what the person is passing through. That is one. And number two, there are some things that pop up on our system, on our email, requesting for some details. You need to do a serious verification. What is the source? You might even think this is coming from your bank. Most of the time, it's not from your bank. And you don't just give out private information that's supposed to be kept secret. You don't just give it out. Even if they call from the bank, they are not supposed to ask for some information. And even if they ask, I'm not supposed to give it to them. At once, I walk to the bank to confirm why this thing is being done. So when talking about security, it's not just for the organization. Everybody involved has their part to play, and they must play their part. Otherwise, fraud, we cannot fight fraud. Fraud will always take the lead.
You can't fight fraud. You always take the lead. So now let us relate it to the economy at large. Because you mentioned NIM, you mentioned BVN, you mentioned all these things. And, there's some issues that happen in the economy, and like the government wanting to give out palliative and the rest of them. And some people will say, oh, but you have our data. Some of us are registered. We have BVN, we have all these things. You can actually follow that means to give this. And so, but why is there that resistance from the part of the government to actually use such mediums to actually reach people? You understand me? Because I see it is also a data of some sort. You understand? So how can now data analysis how can it impact on the economy itself, positively?
In fact, that question is $1 million question. Sincerely, the country has enough data. In Nigeria, we are sitting on wonderful data sets. But like where I started, we have data, we are not maximizing, we are not using it. We want to distribute things out. We already have NIN, you have BVN. But they can argue the fact that, okay, most people, the total population in the country, 200 million, maybe the total BVN they have or the total NIN they have is not up to, okay, fine. Largely, you have a good percentage. That's a good way to even encourage them to go on board, either on BVN or NIN. So we can actually start using and start leveraging on data. So that palliative we mentioned, if it has gone through all this registration channel we already have, we make more people to get on board. And we make, we talk about transparency here. We know that, okay, fine, how many people have been giving, who are those that have not been giving, why, and all those stuff, which area have been touched. On my data set, I can tell you, on the map of Nigeria, we've touched this area, they are marginalized. So what is happening there? Who's supposed to be the person in charge? Data will tell you so many things, and it's transparent. People will see, wow, this is what is really happening. than telling me, okay, we've distributed the palliative. We are just hearing the figure. We've said 200 million worth of items or worth of naira. Then the question is, who are the beneficiaries? So no 100% transparency. Man, leveraging on data, we can actually help and manage all this stuff. And let us leave that part alone. The country as a whole can actually leverage on data for development. By the time we have data captured about everybody, I can easily, from my data, I can tell you what is the percentage of the senior citizens that we have, the working force and the junior and the young ones. Now, what is the ratio and what type of energy can this young one put in to maximize and help the senior and the junior ones? And how can we manage resources? Where do you have more of gender distribution? And what can this gender do in this area? We have land resources, natural resources. How can we maximize this? We can start using data. In fact, it's as simple as ABC. We already have the data, then we need to start using it. So the country is sitting on a lot of data, even from the telco, all the registration we've done, to the bank, to the NIN. If all these things should be well harmonized, I can tell you this will drive the country rapidly to get to their destination. I know at the moment there are a lot of things happening within the system, within the country, because I was so excited when I found out that the passport process, international passport process, is now like, it will be seamless very soon. It was a great news because we've been dreaming of such, and now we had the news, and I'm optimistic that it's coming up very soon. Apart from that, I also know that if one segment of the organization, of the country, can go into such, others will quickly tap into that, and we'll see the growth and the competition moving. And this is actually leveraging on data and using it to maximize what we do. So why would I go and queue when I can sit down in my house, fill some form,
and do the rest of it?
In fact, I'm still having a case. A guy registered on NIN and is dying.
Ayodeji, we can sit down here for 1 hour and not finish it in interview because I'm enjoying it. I'm getting a lecture, but I think the federal government should actually listen to you very well on data usage, because we are sitting on a heap load of data and we are actually not using it. So thank you so much for having us, and giving us all these experts ideas and opinions on data usage. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I'm excited having you guys around. Thank you.
All right. And that's the much we can take here on this interview segment. I'm sure you have enjoyed this. My name is George Nwadozie. I'll see you some other time.